Planned Parenthood understands that abortion stigma can make you feel isolated and scared. Listening to one another is how we build strong and supportive communities. That's why Planned Parenthood is sharing stories of resilience and hope from real people who've had abortions. Let's help create a world where everyone can get the care they need. Learn more at plannedparenthood.com/endstigma.
Are you ready to move your career forward? Make your comeback with Purdue Global and get college credit for your work, school, life, or military experiences. With these credits, you may have already completed up to 75% of your undergraduate degree. You've worked hard to get where you are. It's time to get the recognition you deserve and earn a degree you'll be proud of, one that employers will trust and respect. When you take the next step in your life and career, make it count with Purdue Global, Purdue's online university for working adults. Start your comeback at purdueglobal.edu.
Hello, I'm Carmen Borca Carrillo. I'm a producer at Wonder Media Network, and I'm so excited to guest host during this final week of Pride Month. We're celebrating Pride Month with icons, supreme queens of queer culture. Some are household names, others are a little more behind the scenes. All of them have defied social norms and influenced generations of people to be unapologetically themselves. Today, we're talking about an icon of antiquity, a forerunner of queer language, an architect of the very words we use to talk about queer identity today. While her own sexuality has been a subject of debate for centuries, her influence on poetry and her role in giving a name to love between women is undoubted. Let's talk about Sappho. Sappho's personal history is shrouded in mystery. She was likely born around 615 BC to an aristocratic family on the Greek island of Lesbos. She probably had several brothers, and she probably married a wealthy man and had a daughter. She might have run an academy for unmarried young women. She might have been a priestess. She might have died young, throwing herself off a cliff after her heart was broken by a young sailor. Or she might have lived into old age, dying around 550 BC. What's for certain is that Sappho was a poet. Sappho dabbled in the popular epic form, in which poetry was narrated by the gods. But her most famous works were written in first person. Her poetry was vivid and emotional. She spoke about passion and jealousy, love and hatred. She often wrote poems to be accompanied by a lyre, a harp-like instrument. She also refined a lyric meter all her own, one so unique and influential it's still called Sapphic meter. And of course, Sappho also lent her name, and that of her home island, to two words of queer importance: Sapphic, referring to the love between women, and lesbian. Even if we get today's word lesbian from Sappho's influence, it's not fair to refer to Sappho herself as a lesbian. For one, the word and its context didn't exist in ancient Greece. And as for Sappho herself, there's so few sources on her biography that it's impossible to truly know any facts about her sexuality. But certainly in her poetry, Sappho does express fondness for male and female subjects. Regardless, people have been obsessed with Sappho for forever. Plato famously called her the 10th muse. And even the earliest scholars of Sappho speculated about her sexuality. 3 centuries after her death, writers of the New Comedy, a Greek satire of Athenian society, ridiculed her as an overly promiscuous lover of women. In 1073, Pope Gregory reportedly burned her work for licentiousness. The Suda, the Byzantine encyclopedia where we get most of our information on Sappho, might be part of the problem. It lists Sappho's husband as Kerklius. It could be a legitimate name, or it could be a play on words, combining ancient Greek slang for man and penis, marrying the historically promiscuous Sappho off to a guy called Dick of Man, and likely recycling an old joke about Sappho's sexual appetite. Thanks to the passage of time and the persistence of rumors, very little of Sappho's poetry remains. Most are fragments, quotations via other authors. Her longest surviving poem is 28 lines long. As Sappho's poetry has revealed itself over hundreds of years, it's also been subject to the whims and values of those who find it and translate it. People who might want to come up with explanations and conditions to dampen Sappho's love for other women. Mystery surrounds so much of Sappho's legend, but her poems, even the few fragments that survive, are simple. They're earnest and utterly human. Here's an excerpt from a well-preserved piece, translated, of course, where she seems to long to trade places with a young male suitor. Like the very gods in my sight is he who sits where he can look into your eyes, who listens close to you, to hear the soft voice, its sweetness, murmur in love and laughter, all for him. Regardless of how her poems might have been interpreted in her lifetime, and regardless of Sappho's own personal inclinations, one thing is clear. Sappho is an icon of poetry, of scandal, and, of course, of love. All month, we're talking about icons. For more information, find us on Facebook and Instagram at Womanica Podcast. Special thanks to Jenny and Liz Kaplan for inviting me to guest host. Talk to you tomorrow.
Planned Parenthood fights every day so all people can get the care and education they need to live full, healthy lives. That means having the freedom to control your own body and make decisions for your future, including whether to have an abortion. Abortion storytellers are important. Their powerful narratives, each as unique as they are, reject silence and shame. That's why Planned Parenthood is building a platform to share stories, busting stigma and breaking down barriers to essential health care, one voice at a time. Together, we can help create a future where all people are free to make their own decisions, no matter what. Learn more at plannedparenthood.com/endstigma.
Are you looking to take the next step in your career? Maybe you want to learn new skills, break into a different industry, or just make more money. Marymount University's graduate degrees help you find your next. With approachable, hardworking professors actively networking in their fields, they will set you up for whatever your next may be. Customize your degree to fit your needs and walk away with connections in your field. Marymount University Graduate School, preparing you for what's next. Check them out at marymount.edu/grad for more information.
Finding a good movie can be harder than finding a sitter on date night.
Your kids? Yeah, right.
Prime Video has you covered with the hit movies on Prime like Air and Creed 3. Plus, you can rent or buy the latest new releases like John Wick Chapter 4 in one easy place. Look at that. Now you have more time to watch. Prime Video, the one app to unite them all. Restrictions apply. See Amazon.com/Amazon Prime for details.